Hey everyone, welcome to episode 10, the final video in my series on classroom management. If you've watched just one or stuck around for all 10, I want to thank you for the time you spent with me here in the car. All right, for this last episode, I actually have 10 random thoughts that didn't fit smoothly into any of the other videos that I wanted to use in this wrap it up video. Now, because at the end of a teaching day, my brain is like pudding, I actually had to write down my 10 talking points because I can't remember 10. So I am going to be looking at my list as we go. Okay, number one. If you don't know the answer to a student's question, and there's always that like one or two kids in your day who like to ask you the impossible questions as a test, you can admit that you don't know the answer, and that's fine if you do it once in a while. I want to caution you not to do that too often and to instead use the strategy of deflecting their attention, because if you do it too often, you'll lose credibility. So sometimes I say, that's a great question. I don't know. Sally, will you Google that for us and get the answer? Other times, though, I'm like, that's a great question. I'm going to have you hold on to it, which I'm going to talk about after I get through this next part. And then I never circle back to that kid. Or I say, that's a great question. And I'm actually going to talk about that in tomorrow's lecture. So hang on to that. And then that night I look it up. So use a variety of those strategies. I'd say maybe once a month you can do hey, I don't know, let's Google it. But if you're doing it like once or twice a week, you might want to rethink your strategy and use a little shenanigans to fake them out a little bit. It's okay. They'll get the information eventually. All right. Number two, this is huge. You will fail. You just need to accept it. I fail all the time in small ways and often really big, epic ways. And you just keep going. That's what you do. So give yourself permission to fail. I have some perfectionistic friends who never want to try something new like 20 times because they're afraid they might fail. You might fail. And that will be fine. You will learn in the process. So just accept that that's part of growth. It's a painful part, but it's an important one. Third tip, you got to know where you fit, and you need to not make any excuses for being where you want to be. So a little story, back in the late 90s, I actually got 2 job offers on the same day as I was finishing my student teaching program. One was a high-need urban school in San Francisco. One was a suburban high school that paid double what San Francisco paid out in the East Bay, out in Pleasanton, California. And they were 2 very different job offers, and I had a tug of war of my heart and my conscience about where to teach. But ultimately, I chose the suburbs because I knew I wanted a career, and I knew that people flamed out in about 3 years at that urban school. And I know I made the right choice. Don't apologize for being where you fit best. One of my years, I actually left my suburban school and taught at a community day school, which was where the juvenile hall kids got released before they got sent to the regular schools. They kind of had to prove themselves worthy of being back in a alternative school. So they would go to this community day school. It was a hot mess. I was a disaster. I was not effective. I learned a lot about myself that year. I learned that I cannot just set the stress on the shelf and leave it at school and go home. It rolls around my head too much. So other teachers are great at that. That is their lane. They had been teaching in that format for 30 years and doing a bang up job. I'm just not cut out for that. So I need to know that about myself and not apologize for it. So figure out where you fit, and then you go and you make that work. Okay, fourth, don't invite trouble into your world. So you need to lock your classroom door is what I'm basically saying. You need to not leave your purse out on your desk. You need to put your phone in your pocket. I trust my students, but I don't leave my room unlocked, and I don't have kids in there when I'm not there. They'll go through stuff. They'll find answer keys. They'll get into stuff they're not supposed to. So don't give kids an opportunity to be bad. Trust them and love them, but don't be naive. Okay, so lock that classroom door. Number 5, administrators should be your last resort in terms of helping you solve these discipline problems. They are super busy, and they don't want to solve these problems for you. An effective teacher handles her business. So if you have to do phone calls home and lunch detentions or after school detentions or whatever it is you need to do all of those things first before you go get an administrator involved. If you're a new teacher and you're not yet permanent status, that will be in consideration. How well do you take care of problems yourself that makes that administrator's life easier? Because they have just a revolving door of people all day long, and they don't need us adding to their pile. Somebody once told me that a dusty stack of referrals is the sign of a good teacher, right? Only send a referral on like a real emergency, a situation that you cannot handle on your own. Otherwise, you got to be the problem solver there. Okay. Oh, number 6 is for department chairs. If you are a department chairperson, I got something to say. Can we stop giving the hardest assignments to our newest staff members? And y'all know what I'm talking about. 4 preps, senior English, with like the kids who, are, barely going to graduate, give them yearbook, make them the EL coordinator, and, give them, sophomore English too. That's going to break a person's spine. And yet, time and time again, I hear about these insane assignments that we're giving to the newer people. I get it. The more veteran teachers, we've done our time and we want to have the smoother classes, but we need to step up as well and say, you know what, I will take, that, class of, troublemakers that's historically given new teachers a hard time and rotate it, do something. We need to groom new talent and support them, not throw them into the deep end of the pool and hope they swim. So please, department chairs, you can do it. You can coordinate and set a schedule that is much more humane, and you should do it too. You'll sleep better at night. You'll feel better about yourself. I promise. Number 7, have mercy on the substitute teacher by telling your kids the day before that you're going to be out. If kids don't know you're going to be out and they come into a room and they see a sub, they will lose their damn minds. They'll be so crazy excited. And now the sub's going to have more discipline problems than she would have if you had given your kids a heads up. Hey, I'm going to be at a workshop tomorrow. I've got this sub coming in. Here are my expectations. And on the flip side, when you come back, reward your students. Say, thank you so much for being so well behaved. I'm so proud of you. I use guilt a lot with my kids. So if I'm going to be out, I say, and please remember, you represent yourself, your families, and me when you're in my classroom, even when I'm not around. So I want you to make all of us proud of who you are. And then they'll start to police each other and you'll have a much smoother re-entry to the class with a nice sub note versus, a stack of referrals that you've got to deal with. So warn the kids ahead of time. Number 8, start the year strong. Have your discipline plan in place. Send an email before school starts, introducing yourself, maybe with a little video clip. It sets a great tone. It's so much easier to start smoothly and reinforce early than it is to turn, a crazy train back on the track. So do yourself a favor and button it down in September. Make it work from the launch. Okay, number 9. Oh, not number 9. Humor is everything. You can diffuse so many crunchy situations by a little, self-deprecating humor, get the kids laughing at you, and you'll win them over. Never sarcasm, always, kind of putting yourself on the spot and making light of who you are and having a laugh. It can make the most tense situation kind of melt away. You get better with it the more you do it, but it's like the number 1 tool in my arsenal. And then finally, number 10, kind of a difficult one. But it does seem to me that not everyone who's graduated a teacher training program is really cut out to be a teacher. So if you are not, that's okay. Oh, I got some sun glare, sorry. If you're not cut out for the classroom, it's okay. Just admit that to yourself. It's a really hard job. If you don't like teenagers, if they just sort of irritate you, if you're not laughing at work at least a couple times a week, maybe you should think about doing something else. It's okay. But just have that moment of clarity with yourself. On the flip side, if you really like the kids and you just don't like the paperwork or you just don't like the principal, stick with it because they really need adults who think they're charming and funny and idealistic and really worth the investment of our time and energy. All right, that's it for me. I am still at laurarandazzo.com. And even though the series is done, the conversation hasn't ended. Anytime you need anything, just send me an email over there and I will be on the other end. All right, you guys have a great week. I'll see you sometime soon. Okay, bye.